Good day. This is my weekly reflection for April 29 to May 5. This week was one of the most stressful and emotional weeks of my project, but it also taught me a lot about how to deal with problems in a real production. At the start of the week, I was still working on my original film idea, and on Tuesday, I printed, finalized, and got my script approved by my teacher. That felt like a good step forward because it meant that the project was finally moving in the right direction. Having the script approved gave me a clearer structure to work with, and it made me feel more prepared for the filming stage. On Wednesday, I helped my classmate film his horror film, and at the same time, I continued finishing my own documents, particularly my shot list. While doing this, I realized I was still unsure about what to put and how to film certain scenes on my upcoming filming, especially when it comes to choosing the best camera angle for one specific moment. So instead of guessing, I watched a drama film titled The Pursuit of Happiness to study how drama films use camera angles to show emotion. I noticed that close up shots were often used during serious moments to show the character's feelings more clearly, while wider shots were used to show isolation and even pressure. This helped me understand how I could use similar angles in my own film to make the emotional scenes feel stronger and more natural. From this, I learned that I need to look at other films more carefully when I'm stuck because it gives me more practical ideas I can apply to my own work. On Thursday, I worked on my Wix website. I took pictures of my documents, then added them in my different pages, printed props like funeral invitations, helped my classmate film again, and also started a delayed research, which was my mind map. I changed the design of my homepage so it looked cleaner and less crowded. I removed some unnecessary words and even designs because I wanted the website to look more professional and easier to follow. This showed me that good presentation matters, from the colors and even the fonts, because a simple and organized website makes my work look more serious and easier for others to understand me as a student and me as an individual. I also realized that I should have done the mind map earlier because delaying it made me feel more rushed later in the week. Saturday was supposed to be the day I improved my Wix website. I took pictures of my document and added them again online. However, that day became the turning point of the week. The older man who had agreed to film did not appear at church for 2 days. And then on the day of filming, found out he was in a wheelchair with an aid because of mobility issues. So at that moment, I knew I could not continue with the original plan. I had to quickly accept that I needed to use my contingency plan. Although this was disappointing, I think it showed good decision making because I didn't waste time panicking too long. Instead, I reacted quickly and started thinking about what I could still do to save the project. One of the best decisions I made was that I had already prepared the backup ideas weeks earlier. I had created the contingency story with fewer locations, simpler structure, and the same message of hope. So, because of that, I was able to move faster when the original plan collapsed. And so I contacted my classmate to take part in the new film. And then in the evening, I rushed to write the contingency script. Even though I was under a lot of pressure, I still tried to think carefully about the dialogue and the message. The fact that I had a backup idea really showed me the importance of planning for problems before they happen, not after. The new story still uses Alex as the main character, but the plot was different while keeping the same theme of hope. I think this actually made the project more flexible and more realistic. The original story was more emotional and slow, but the new version had to be shorter and more direct because of the time and casting issues. And so I realized that the theme of hope was still strong in both versions, and that helped me feel like the project was not lost, just changed. In a way, the whole situation reflected the message of my film. I was making a story about hope while personally feeling disappointed and low in hope myself. That irony made the week feel more heavier, but it also made the project feel more personal and meaningful. When I filmed on Monday with my brother and my classmate, I felt both relief and pressure. I was relieved because I finally had the actors and could get the new version done, but I was also aware that the film had been rushed. The script was made in less than 24 hours and wasn't even checked by my mentor, which meant I had less time to improve it properly. Even so, I think I applied what I had learned from my earlier mistakes. For example, I used my previous experience to make the dialogue shorter and more meaningful. I also planned some camera angles with my brother, and I tried to make the scenes more controlled than before. So, although the situation was far from ideal, I did improve a few things by using past mistakes to guide my choices. One thing I know I could have done better was the stage direction. On the day of filming, my actors were confused about where to stand, where to move, and when to speak. That made me realize that I had not written enough detail to the script, and so I also gave them a soft copy instead of a hard one, which made it harder for them to read the lines properly during filming.